If you follow the NFL closely, you already know that a solid offensive line is what separates a promising quarterback from a champion, and the Texans have just taken a huge step in that direction. If you don't already follow the channel, this is the kind of content you'll find here every week: analysis, behind-the-scenes footage, and everything that happens in the NFL unfiltered. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss anything. Did you enjoy this analysis? Leave a like and activate the bell. There's much more content like this coming soon. The Houston Texans have reached an agreement for a 2-year contract with former Indianapolis Colts offensive lineman Braden Smith, according to a source familiar with the deal speaking to the Houston Chronicle. Smith, 30, was one of the Texans' top targets in this offseason's free agency and one of the best players still available on the market. The deal will only be officially announced on Wednesday, with the official start of the new league season. But negotiations are already complete, and the contract could reach $25 million, with $13.5 million guaranteed. Last season, Smith started 13 games for the Colts at right tackle, and his arrival in Houston undoubtedly represents the Texans' biggest signing in this offseason's free agency. The team also signed former Eagles safety Reed Blankenship, but it is Smith who fills one of the most urgent gaps in the roster. To understand the significance of this signing, it's necessary to look at what the Texans had, or rather, what they lacked on their offensive line. C.J. Stroud was one of the NFL's biggest revelations in recent seasons, but any quarterback, no matter how talented, depends on quality protection to perform at a high level. Houston's offensive line had been identified as one of the weakest points on the roster, and the franchise knew it needed to act in the offseason to avoid jeopardizing another promising season. Smith arrives as a former second-round draft pick and has accumulated 105 starts in 8 seasons with the Colts. Although injuries throughout his career have generated some concern, when healthy he is one of the most reliable tackles in the league. The 6'4" and 241 player was ranked the 7th best free agent by ESPN and 19th by The Athletic, showing that the market recognized his value even before Houston closed the deal. Beyond his on-field impact, Smith carries a personal story that goes far beyond American football. He left the Colts 5 games before the end of the 2024 season to address a mental health issue, spending 48 days in a psychiatric clinic in Colorado as an intensive care patient. There, he was diagnosed with religious scrupulosity, a form of obsessive-compulsive disorder characterized by excessive preoccupation with the possibility of having committed sins or violations of religious and moral doctrines, according to the International OCD Foundation. In an interview with the Houston Chronicle in November, Smith described the condition as feeling unable to distinguish between reality and dreams. It's an endless cycle, like going down several rabbit holes. You keep having arguments in your head and worrying about irrational things, irrational fears. But it all seems very real, he said. Currently, Smith takes medication to manage his condition and has dedicated himself to informing other NFL players about the resources offered by the Players Association and the league itself, becoming an important voice in the discussion about mental health in sports. The arrival of Smith immediately transforms the Texans' offensive line. He's likely to start at right tackle, with Trent Brown and Blake Fisher as backups. If the Texans need reinforcement at guard, Smith can also play inside, further increasing his usefulness to the roster. Combined with Ed Ingram's contract extension, also announced on Monday, the franchise now has 4 potential starters under contract on the line, in addition to Ariante Ursary and Jake Andrews. This depth is exactly what coach DeMeco Ryans and general manager Nick Caserio were looking for, as both are known for valuing internal competition at key positions. With Smith, the Texans also gain strategic leeway in the draft. They don't necessarily have to use a first-round pick on an offensive tackle, opening up space to strengthen other areas of the roster. The main gap that remains is the left guard position, which continues without a defined starter and should be a priority in the coming weeks. And speaking of drafts and future moves, rumors indicate that the Texans haven't finished their free agency activities yet. With the left guard position open, the names of some remaining free agents have been circulating behind the scenes, and Houston's management is reportedly monitoring the market closely. There's also speculation about a possible trade involving draft picks to acquire an experienced guard should the market not offer the ideal solution. If the Texans manage to solve this last piece of the puzzle, C.J. Stroud's offensive line could be, by far the most competitive he's ever had since arriving in the league. Nothing is confirmed, but Casario's track record shows that he rarely stops before addressing all the roster's needs. My opinion is straightforward. This is one of the best signings the Texans could have made this offseason. Smith isn't just a good player, he's exactly the profile Houston needed: experienced, versatile, capable of playing more than one position on the line, and with a history of being a consistent starter when in top form. The 2-year contract with $13.5 million guaranteed is also smart from a financial standpoint, as it doesn't tie the franchise down long-term and still leaves room for future moves. Obviously, concerns about injuries are legitimate, and the mental health issues last season raise questions about his availability. But the fact that Smith faced it head-on, sought treatment, recovered, and returned to play says a lot about his character. He didn't run from the problem, he confronted it, and that kind of mentality is exactly what a team that wants to take a step toward the Super Bowl needs in the locker room. If the Texans solve the left guard position, I believe that offensive line could surprise a lot of people in 2025. The upcoming season promises to be exciting.